Hello, everyone. In this session, we will understand how to migrate data for outstanding invoices. Our agenda for today is to perform data migration for outstanding invoices by using an ETL script. The main goal for this session is to move outstanding invoices data from a source template to the Onfinity ERP application. Here are the things you need to have ready before we start the migration. First, the tenant and organization configuration must be set up on the migration instance. Second, a migration user must be created, named import user, for when we migrate the data through our script. An import user must be created or available at the time of migration. This is important when we are migrating the data using our ETL script. The import user is used as the created by field. Next, the Talon tool must be set up and configured correctly. To set up the Talon tool, you can refer to the video titled Talon Tool. You should also watch the Talon Setup and Data Template Overview video. This video is important so you can understand the data template structure and how to fill the data into the template. Let us now move to the next slide. Outstanding receivable invoices are invoices that have been sent to a customer but have not been paid yet. These invoices are still open and represent the amount that still needs to be paid by the customer. We recommend that users close or reconcile most of the open items before the project cutoff date. This helps minimize the amount of open item data and simplifies reconciliation. This means that before the project goes live, we are suggesting you close any open transactions that are possible to help reconcile the data for outstanding receivable invoices. Our source data template is the customer master, and there is a worksheet for outstanding receivable invoices. You have to provide the outstanding receivable invoices data in this template. You have to provide the data in this template up to the cutoff date. This is our customer master data template. We are using the same template for outstanding receivable invoices. This template has a worksheet called Outstanding Receivable Invoices. You have to put the data for outstanding invoices into this worksheet. The first field is organization, so you must enter the name of the organization the invoices belong to. You have to enter the organization name and the document type. From the template, you have to choose AR invoice or AR credit memo. An AR credit memo means the transaction is related to a return. Another important field is account date, which must be the cutoff date for all open invoices. The account date should be the cutoff date. You have to provide data for all the fields in this template. After you have filled in the data, you can validate it. Go to the instruction sheet and click on the AR Invoices button in the Trigger section. The Outstanding Invoices worksheet data validation has been completed, but some issues were found. You must address the gaps and then try again. Go to Outstanding Invoices and see what the error is. In this worksheet, column I is highlighted as Customer Code. This column is highlighted because, as the description mentions, we are getting this data from the Customer Master Sheet, and the field is Customer Code. This code might not be in the Master Data worksheet, so we can double-check it. As you can see, this code is not in the Customer Master Sheet. For the Customer Code, you have to use all the customers that are in the master data so we can fix it. Our correct customer code is 3 only. Now let us revalidate the data. Go back to the instruction sheet and click on the AR Invoice button. The Outstanding Receivable Invoice worksheet data is now validated and is completed. No issues were found. So our data is now validated, but here is a number of such errors. You have to take care of these kinds of errors. The master data must first be in the application. Then you can refer to that data in the data template. Another important point is that we cannot change the worksheet name. If we do, data validation will cause an error. You must only fill in the outstanding receivable invoices in this worksheet. For payable invoices, we have another template, so please keep only receivable invoices here. Now, let's move to the Talon to migrate the data into the application. Go to the Talon to migrate the outstanding receivable invoices. We have scripts in the Talon repository. Go to the Customer Master folder, and then to the Receivable Invoices folder. Open this folder and go to AR Invoices. Our first job is to stage outstanding receivable invoices. Double-click on the script. In our first step, we will read the data from the source data template and load it into the staging table. Before you execute the Talon script, our data template must be closed. This template has been placed under this folder structure: Talon, Value, ERP, PostQuery, Finance, Source, Finance, Finance Customer, and Source. This is our outstanding receivable invoices template. Now go to the Talon and we will execute the staging job. Go to the Run section and click on the Run button. The staging table is now populated successfully. From this staging table, after the data transformation, we will load the data into our main table. In a similar way, you should run this main job. Go to the Run section and run the job. After this job runs, our data will be populated into the invoice header. Now our 3 records have successfully migrated into the invoice header table. We now need to create the invoice line. We will now upload the outstanding receivable invoice line data for this invoice line. Open this main receivable invoice line. This job will upload the data into the invoice line. To execute this script, go to the Run section and click the Run button. Our script has now been executed successfully, and 3 lines have been successfully migrated. In our source template, there were only 3 invoice lines, and all 3 lines have now been successfully migrated into the invoice line table. For these invoices, we also need to create one entry on the Invoice Text tab. In a similar way, we will run the Receivable Invoice Text job to upload the data into the Invoice Text tab. 3 lines have now been created for the Invoice Text tab. Another important point here is that there may be some errors in the source data. To capture these errors, we have a log repository. Go to the Invoice Customer Master Source folder. For each of our jobs, we are creating an error file. For example, if there is an error in the invoice header job, we will create an error file with the job name. Let us open our first main invoice header error file. In this invoice header file, there may be a number of errors. If there are any errors related to master data mismatch or any mandatory field, this error file will capture all the errors. With the remarks provided, we can resolve these errors. In a similar way, we will migrate the invoice scheduled data. For the scheduled data, we have 2 jobs. One is for staging, and the other is the main job to load the data into the receivable invoice scheduled data. The source template is OS Receivable Invoice Schedule. We will now move to the application to see the data on the screen. For the invoice header line data screen, go to the application menu and search for AR Invoice. As you can see, our 3 records have successfully migrated. The respective fields from our data template have been successfully mapped in our application. This is the invoice header, and this is the invoice line. In this way, our outstanding receivable invoice data has been successfully migrated. Thank you for attending.